people talk about empathy, but compassion is the action to that. So you can feel a certain way, but what are you going to do to help that impact that person?
Welcome back to a mental health break. We're bringing on a good friend and the host of the PFAC podcast, Voices of Experience. Amber, welcome to a mental health break.
Wow, Vincent, this is amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Amber's got another awesome show. I've got it up here on the screen. If you catch this after it goes live, Voices of Experience, PFAC.com. And I want to welcome you to a mental health break. My name is Vincent A. Lancey, and I'm excited to be bringing this guest on today. She's a big leader over at Tampa General Hospital. She's got her own story to share. And again, she's leading this awesome podcast focused on patient stories. So if you are a patient and have a story to share, stick around to the end of the episode to find out how to get in touch with Amber. But Amber, what led you to want to work at TGH or in the mental health space at all?
So, Vincent, it starts when I was a young girl. I've always kind of had these symptoms, things going on with my body, and kind of always wanted to know like what was going on, what was wrong with me. As a woman, sometimes people tell you, oh, it's normal, or that's, you're supposed to go through that, things like that. And so I really started being more in tune with my body and realizing that some of the things I was experiencing was not normal. But through that, I was actually introduced into the healthcare field, wanting to help people and wanting to, in a sense, give them a voice, right? So you turn around at 360, but I wanted someone to listen to me and I wasn't being heard. And so I said, well, I want to be in a position where I can help someone tell their story, ultimately allow the world to listen to what they're saying and be impacted by their stories. From that, then I was able to realize that going through this journey alone is not easy. And so I have actually had the opportunity to have a really great therapist myself who keeps me, aligned and focused and really help my self-worth in a sense.
I love that. And everyone out there, you have a story to share. She's a great example of that. Now she's helping magnify other people's stories, but she can't do that until she focuses on herself. And that's a great testimonial right there. What are some other things you do to take care of your mental health?
I love that question. So one thing I do really is to those around me and realize that someone else might have it a little bit worse than you and have a sense of appreciation for life. Really self-reflect on where I've come from, understanding that this journey wasn't easy, but I'm still here. And every day I open my eyes, it's another day, right? And it's another day to be great. And so that's one, is self-reflection. Two, actually, my best friend gave me an app called Headspace where I'm able to kind of like meditate and listen to inspirational sayings and help my breathing, things like that, to really hone in and focus on what's at stake right now is not the end of the world. I'm going to be okay. And the third is actually prayer. I do pray and I do take the time to really count my blessings in a sense, as some would say, but really just deep down understand this world we live in is not our own. And it's okay to tap into something higher to really understand that you need a sense of peace.
Oh my gosh, what great words there. We already talked about a few tools for your tool chest, whether it's therapy, whether it's all the other things she just said. I mean, and the best part about that, sharing so many, is what works for some won't work for everyone. So you just gave a few right there. I absolutely love that. Now, moving professionally, you still wanted to stay in the field. You loved it enough to get a job over there at Tampa General Hospital. Tell us about what you do over there.
So at Tampa General Hospital, I am the patient advisory coordinator. So I oversee the Patient and Family Advisory Council. What that means is it's a council of patients and family members that give back their time to the organization at a very high level in a very unique way. And so all patients have a story, all patients have an experience, but these patients really focus on, I really appreciated everything Tampa General has done for me and my family. And I know Tampa General is one of the best in the region. And so I want to continue to help them be the best. And so they give feedback at a high level and they really help the processes and the, education materials and really how TGH works all together. They're really embedded into those meetings, into those discussions. And so it's just a unique way that patients get back their time. And it's so admirable. I honestly think to myself, like, would I give of myself this way? But honestly, listening to patients and hearing their stories and their experiences, I think I would too if I ever was given this opportunity.
I know you're also extending yourself, growing and doing new things in the health space. I mean, she just got a good degree, right? So let's congratulate you on that. Let's talk about what you just did.
So I graduated with my doctorate of physical therapy degree. I wanted to go into physical therapy to really give back to women's health. As I mentioned earlier in my story, I had my own issues and I didn't really have anyone that was advocating for me or simply listening. And so I want to be that provider where if a patient comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm having this weird pain or this discomfort or something's off or I feel weak or unbalanced or whatever it is," I could be that healthcare professional to really help them align and understand that, hey, this is what's going on with your body, really educating them and then giving them tools and resources to have a better quality of.
I love that. Just getting involved in new ways, making a difference in other ways. And again, another way she makes a difference is she's got this awesome mental health podcast, Voices of Experience, pfac.com. Let's talk a little bit about this podcast. What's the mission of the podcast?
The mission of the podcast is patient voice all the time. Really implementing the patient voice, getting the patient voice out there, and really keeping the conversation going. When we have these podcasts and these discussions, it doesn't stop right there. The goal is to share with somebody that you know that might be going through an experience that's similar, or that might just need to hear that, hey, this patient went through something, you can overcome it too. So it's really the voices of experience, really the voices of the patient, really getting it out there lively so everyone can know I am not alone.
You are never alone, anyone. If you're listening on, viewing on, times may seem tough today, but they will improve. And you start doing that by taking care of your mental health. We've talked so much. Amber, the podcast vision, I know you've on season 2 now. Let's talk about how things have evolved.
Yes, I mean, from someone who got into podcasting kind of nervous initially, trying to find my way to see if this was a niche that I would really enjoy. And I'll be honest, I love it. I am just so surprised at how much it's blown up in terms of the visibility. From season one, my first episode, it was just me kind of just talking through things and just trying to find my footing. To now season two, we're having like real life stories, real patients on there, really telling their testimonial. And I mean, to the point patients are going on there and really being emotional and showing their true self. And I think that is so vulnerable and is so passionate. And that's the type of work I want to get in. I want to meet you where you're at. I want to be like, this is real life, right? And so the Voice of Experience podcast, it started off where we were kind of introducing what that means, bringing on some leaders to kind of talk about the work they do with the patients and their families. But now we really have a host of patients and families really talking about their experiences and how TGH has truly helped.
I know there's not just one PFAC. PFAC actually covers a lot of areas which the show highlights and makes it different. What are some areas PFAC is already established in?
That's a great question, Vincent. Yes. So when I attained this role about 3 years ago, for the most part, it was just a larger population of the patients, and we kind of plug and played them in different areas, where their experience lie. But then we went under a restructure, and now we have PFACs under multiple service lines to include rehab, the Cancer Institute, the Digestive Diseases Institute, the Transplant Institute, the Women's Institute, and the Children's Hospital. I mean, the list goes on. We're looking to grow next fiscal year to get into hospital medicine and to the Heart and Vascular Institute. So we're really trying to bring that patient voice into all the service lines at Tampa General, and it's to really allow that service line to have a connectedness to the patient and a resource. So that way they're able to reach out to them and say, hey, I have this patient-facing document or booklet, and I really want to know your feedback on it. And if you think it'll be receptive and if it's the best product we can produce for our patients, and then they have the patients right there at their fingertips to give them feedback.
It's absolutely unbelievable. And congratulations to how much it's grown under you. And now the podcast helping it grow even more. With the podcast, you get to sit there and deliver these amazing chats. Again, anyone out there, if this is sounding like something that resonates with you, I'm going to ask Amber now, how can someone get involved with the Patient Family and Advisory Council or PFAC?
Yeah, it's a great question, Vincent. So we have a website. And if you go on Google and just Google TGH PFAC or Patient and Family Advisory Council, you could go right on there and get involved that way. Or if you visit our Wasted Experience PFAC website for our podcast, we also have some external links on there where you can get connected with the organization. And the application and all that information online goes directly to me. So I will see all of that information, reach out to you. We have a team of advisors that are truly dedicated to reaching out to new advisors and really getting them onboarded and well versed within the PFAC.
I love it. So I'm going to flip the script on Amber here, something she does on her shows. Amber, what does the patient voice mean to you, everyone? The patient voice she keeps in mind with every decision they make. And that's why she continues to try to grow this into new departments, new areas, because if we take it from the patient's perspective, chances are the patient can have a better experience. So, Amber, I'd love to hear mental health is tied into this completely with a bad experience or good experience. Why is the patient voice important? Excuse me.
Yeah, so the patient voice is so important because it gives us a different insight to our why. As healthcare professionals, we go into these spaces and we think, well, I'm going in to help people. Okay, why? Right? And it might be that one experience that your mom went through, your dad went through, or you went through, right? But that person had to have a voice and say, hey, that hurt, or hey, that didn't feel well, or hey, I really didn't appreciate the way that person spoke to me, or hey, I really didn't understand what they said. And now it's like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Oh, I didn't realize that was your experience. What can I do as a healthcare provider, as a professional, as someone working in the healthcare space to change that experience for the next person, right? So the patient voice is really a great tool for us to gauge how we're doing as an organization. That makes the patient feel empowered to continue to speak up or to continue to go to their family members and say, it's okay to go to Tampa General to get help because they're going to listen to the patient voice. So for me as a patient, I want to be involved with an organization that is going to hear my voice and understand its importance versus just saying, well, I went to medical school and I should know what I'm doing. Yes, absolutely. No one's saying that's not the truth, but the patient's experience is their reality. As many people say, perception is reality. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Well, how can we really learn how to listen, take those pieces back and enhance without getting offended or feeling like someone's complaining or anything like that? Really understanding that their voice is there and it's their way of saying, I just want you to know what my experience is. So that way the next person doesn't have to go.
And something I love about this whole experience here at TGH is when you make feedback and give suggestions, if it's practical, I've seen firsthand, they usually do implement that. Amber, would you agree?
I agree. Yes, I have seen it. Yes. For those listening, once the Patient Family Advisory Council, especially on documents, gives feedback, those team members go back and, like he said, if those changes are feasible or practical, they'll put the PFAC approved logo on the document saying, hey, patients saw this and they gave their feedback and we're really proud of having them a part of it.
Yeah, I wish I could keep up with the emails. And sometimes we have so much feedback to give. And it's so amazing because that many more people are understanding that, hey, what sounds good to me may not sound good to the actual patient, the one experiencing what we're doing. So incredible work there. Amber, I'd love to ask this question for you. Similar, and again, when you tune into Voice of Experience, I'm putting it back here on the bottom. You'll see she ends the show with a question of her own. She just dove in. I always like to ask if you could give a piece of advice to anyone who may be listening or streaming in, watching the video after it airs, who's really struggling today. Nothing is going their way. They seem like they're in their own way. What can you offer?
Remember who you are and remember your why as a human and why you do what you do. Sometimes we allow the stresses of our work, our personal life to define us, but that's not who we are. We come into this world as a blank slate, right? The different outside influences, what influences us to kind of shape and mold our character. But deep down, we all know who we are, who we truly want to be. So I would say just remember who you are. Don't allow the outside forces or influences to sway that, especially if it's not in a positive direction. Because that's when we start to get too worked up into forgetting our self-worth and our sense of being. And for me personally, that is what gets me back aligned. Remembering who Amber is, remembering the why of what I do.
I absolutely love that. And everyone, remember that for yourselves too. What are you doing? You know what you're here for. Everybody will have a perception or an opinion about something you do, but you have to remember you're doing what's best for you and what's right for you. Amber's constant motivation of that. What do you have planned for the rest of 2025 as this airs here in the summer?
This is a new start for me, Vincent. I'm finishing a lot of different projects that I started about 2, 3 years ago and really seeing things to fruition. It's like, oh, this is actually happening. I'm living it, right? Because you have dreams and you're like, oh, I really want to do this. I want to do that. Now I'm able to live those dreams. I'm able to be, in a sense, I want to be a example to somebody else and say, you can do it, right? And so for me, I am now ready to live into the work I put in. And now I'm really looking to grow the PFAC to a whole nother level. So get ready because now my time is a little bit more. I was in school studying, doing different things and still was able to have an impact. But now I'm like, I'm ready. Like, this is going to be great. I dream out loud, but for some, it's a little bit more. But for me, this is where I live. This is my bubble and I'm ready to go.
Are we able to get any sneak peeks into some of these things that are coming PFAC's way? Or we're going to have to actually listen to the podcast, right? That's probably the best way to find out more. She puts out episodes every Friday on that show. What episode are you up to as we're recording this? 5 or 6 already. So season 2 is underway. She kicked it off with the Lumbergs. And just give some examples, Amber, quick. This season, let's touch on the different areas from each episode. We know they're
Yeah.
the kidney donors, I believe.
Yeah. So our first episode was the Lumbers, like you said, and they were live kidney transplant donors. And so a lot of people hear about transplantation and they think it's from a cadaver, someone who passed away. But these people are so inspirational because out of the goodness of their heart and just wanting to do the right thing, they gave up their kidney to someone they didn't know. You don't find people like that in the world these days. And I thought that was so amazing. So yes, we had them on the podcast. They both were very inspirational as to why they did what they did. And then they were able to meet their recipients. And so that was amazing. After that, we had some leaders come on. Actually, we had our chief medical officer and we had our chief quality officer, and they really spoke to the importance of quality and high reliability in healthcare. And with that, I mean, that episode really opens your eyes to how organization thinks and the why behind what they do, right? So that one was an amazing episode. And then after that, we did have Kim on there.
Kim and Justin, they're all, them and the Lumbergs. I've had pleasure of more Kim than the husband on the air, of course, but Kim, she does the new patient orientations as well. Debbie and Michael do as well. That's a whole nother podcast, but let's learn more about their episode. Why are they on the Voices of Experience podcast?
Yeah, so they're on the podcast because they had a unique experience of becoming NICU parents. Their child was born at 28 weeks. And then after that, they had twins. Imagine once you enter parenthood, it's a whole different dynamic. But they had to kind of dive head first into realize, like, these are the things I need to do for my child at a very young, small age. He is now 5. So it's been some time, but he's here and he's live and he's well. He's wonderful. And then they're twin girls. I mean, it's such an inspirational episode.
It sure was. Big shout out to Kim and her advocacy as well. Debbie, she's all over the community. If you don't know Debbie Lumberg's name, you will if you come to the Tampa area. She's a rock star too. And then now we're coming on episode 5, but right now episode 4 just came out with Tiffany Brown and Megan. What was this episode about?
This was all about compassion in healthcare. I mean, and it's funny, they utilize the book Compassionomics, which is a unique medium to really talk about a podcast. But we really talked about the book and how that book tied into the work they do now and how compassionate healthcare is so vital. It's so important. And I learned so much from that episode. I'm so glad we had that episode. But one of the takeaways was people talk about empathy, but compassion is the action to that. So you can feel a certain way, but what are you going to do to help that impact that person?
I had to plug the show a little bit there because everyone, if you're looking for another mental health show indirectly, it covers a lot of mental health topics and it dives into a lot of areas that will make you feel okay, more familiar, more comfortable in situations that can be scary otherwise. And that's a big, big benefit of listening to Voice of Experience. So Amber, thank you for switching seats, being a guest here on a mental health break. Where can people say hello to you? And again, I'm putting the website up here one more time, voicesofexperiencepfac.com.
Yes, and they can also tune into our social media at Voices of Experience PFAC. We do have a social media, Facebook and Instagram. That is a great part too, to go on there and kind of see some snippets from our episodes and really dive into the topics that we've been talking about.
I absolutely love it, everyone. Go ahead, check out that podcast, and thank you for tuning in to a mental health break and keeping this a top 5% global show. Remember to subscribe to stay current with our mental health rock stars who come on each week. Thank you, Amber, for such a great show, full of value. My name is Vincent A. Lansing, and you can learn about me online by searching my name. And the show is brought to you by ComingAlivePodcastProduction.com to start your podcast journey today. But with that, we're signing off here, both in the Bay Area. Amber, thank you so much.
Thanks, Vincent. Pleasure.